on the block, I was serving vanilla. I called a wave with some maize and Margiela. Bought him a water, but red up and down. Tell him McCartney, you came with a bell. Taking off just like a rocket, got rings in my pocket. I'm having my way with these. Shawty, you love my
Shoptalk 7 and 3 up, but we get down. It's your host, Tony Media Monics.
Yeah, and I'm your boy. Get this, D Smith in the building, man. Shoptalk 7 Friday edition. Welcome to the building. Welcome to the shop, man. Hit us up, 630-465-0229. Okay, once again, that number is 630-465-0229. All right. Hit us up on StreamYard.
You got it right twice in a row.
Yeah, I did. So I got a little practice in before we
proud of you,
before we went live. Thank you. I'm getting that. I'm getting that. Man, before we get started, man, let's make sure we shout out to our peoples, man. So shout out to our residences, man, our small business owners who are rocking with us, man. So definitely want to make sure we give them some love, okay? So shout out to Bottoms Up Mobile Mixology LLC. Heads down, bottoms up. For all your mixology needs, make sure you hit her up, okay? Our girl, Miss BB Fly, Miss Brandy Fly. Check her out, okay?
We gave her that name, by the way.
No, we didn't.
BB Fly?
BB Fly was her name.
We totally made that up.
We did.
Bro, we totally made up BB Fly.
No, we did.
Her name is Butterfly.
We've been calling BB Fly.
I know, because we made it up.
Okay, we ain't argue with it. Oh, did somebody turn down the sirens?
If you could, I mean,
Please,
golly.
damn.
There we go. Now we on all
There
platforms. There we go. Yeah. All right.
And also our other resident, we want to shout out to Miss Row Designs,
You
man.
feel me?
Row Design Services, man. Shout out to Row. I don't know if y'all peeped them, but y'all should check them out. You know what I'm saying? These are really, really dope. They feel good. You know what I'm saying? We should turn this into models.
Husky Men's International Magazine coming soon. You feel me?
Shout out Row Design, man. These are really, really comfortable. So if y'all looking for something custom, man, make sure you go holler at Row Designs, okay? Row Design Services, all right?
All right, we got topics coming up. You know, we're going to get to the juicy stuff in a minute first, but we're going to do these current events real quick. Well, I'm going to say real quick, but we're going to get to them. The first one is, how do we feel about Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State? How will this affect HBCU'S?
How do we feel about Deion Sanders? Personally, I look at it from a few different angles. Okay, one, I don't get involved in rich people problems, so he can do whatever he wants to do. I don't want to get too much energy towards his decision making, but that to the side, I do see how that may affect HBCUs, but before he became the head coach of a HBCUs were already kind of declining in enrollment before he showed up anyway.
They're underfunded.
Right, they were already underfunded. So I don't see him leaving as, you know, making a bigger dent than it was already there. But on the other vein, I can understand people saying where he was a draw to an HBCU, and now that he leaves, his attention to his draw goes with him.
He wasn't. I felt like he was making him relevant. Him leaving is a hit to the image. Could be a hit to the image.
Mm-hmm.
That remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Maybe he left it in good hands.
True too.
Him leaving is something.
Yeah.
Great for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, great for him. But I was sad to see him go. I liked him there. I thought it was going to set a different kind of precedent if he stayed there long term. Kind of like Eddie Johnson. Is it Eddie Johnson? Eddie Jackson.
Eddie Johnson
from LA, Grambling.
Yep, it was Eddie Johnson.
You know, but it must be the money. Hey, you know what Prime is about.
Yeah,
he went there. He did Jackson State a good service.
He did. It's not like he didn't put in the work there. He definitely put in the work.
I actually hope they hire the coach that he requested. Troy. I forget the guy's name. I feel like it's Troy Taylor.
Okay, I'm not sure. I have to look that up.
But there was a coach that he recommended.
Yeah, I think that could also be the thing too. Maybe he is leaving to make room for, a new person to slide in there under his opening. You know what I'm saying? So, example, I'm leaving because I'm making space because I got to connect to put another person in play.
I think it was the bread.
I mean, of course, it's the bread.
If Jackson State would have offered him a bag, he wouldn't have left.
I agree with that. If they'd have matched,
yeah.
If they'd have matched, he probably would have stayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's elevation for him. It's a D1 school.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That's true.
Trying to see.
That's true.
Have you seen his marketing pitch though?
No.
This dude is. I ain't never seen nobody market like that.
Well, DEION is he
said, "I'm not hard to find." To the potential recruits, for all you people entering the portal, I'm not hard to find. I was like, wow.
I mean, DEION he's a showman.
Yeah, he definitely
he's a consummate showman. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely gonna promote and bring attention to wherever he going.
TC Taylor, that's his name. That's Vita said is his name.
TC Taylor.
Look at our journalists on doing the job. Go ahead, baby girl.
There we go. See, we got people out there doing the research.
You hear me? Now, Vita, look this up. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Don't fall for it, Vita.
All right. I don't know. I don't got a whole lot to say about it.
Did you post a link on your page?
It's definitely on my page.
It's definitely on your page.
It's on Shoptalk and it's on Shoptalk 7 Media.
I'm definitely looking at it.
You hear me?
Yeah.
We probably should put it in a group too.
Probably a good idea.
So I don't know. I'm got a whole lot to say about that. If y'all got something to say about that, y'all chime in. Let us know. You got anything else on that?
Not really, because it's kind of been beat to death in terms of everybody giving their opinion.
I'm happy for him.
I'm happy for him too.
Especially if he sees this as a move.
Yeah. I'm happy for him too. It's Deion Sanders, dude. I just, you like to see Deion Sanders win because he's an intelligent dude. You know what I'm saying? Cocky as hell, but he's righteously cocky.
He earned it.
You know what I'm saying? He's righteously cocky.
Kind of like me. You feel me?
You know. So he Deion earned the stripes to do whatever you want to do, man. He a coach now, so it's like, dude, man, do your thing. Black head coaches in college, on the pros, and y'all do y'all thing. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all thing wherever you can do it at.
What we got next, man? BRITNEY Griner's homecoming. Shout out BG.
Shout out to BRITNEY Griner.
She made it home.
Welcome
Happy for
home.
you, your wife, Sherelle Griner.
Yeah.
You know.
Welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home.
A lot of people had something to say about her homecoming, about the trade.
Mm-hmm. And I have something to say about that too.
You know
what I'm saying?
Look, first of all, I'm gonna say this. I'm just happy that for whatever reason, the U.S. thought highly enough of a black woman to bring her home for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm celebrating that.
Yeah,
I do understand a lot of other people's views on it. We should have got more for returning that guy.
Yeah, for anybody who's
I totally get that.
For anybody who's been in jail or been in custody or been in the police station or been in lockup or whatever like that, that's not a great feeling. It's not a great feeling at all. Especially when it's over something that could have been avoided. You know what I'm saying? So to see her being put in prison for such a minor offense and face the type of time she was facing, simply because the timing of it fell in line with a political event, kind of made her the perfect pawn in the political game. And that's what happened. They kind of just snatched her up, used her as a pawn, but the United States looks like shit letting her rot in jail for a pin.
Well, do they? I mean, this is the United. I'll say this to be objective about it.
Mm-hmm. She did break a law.
They had a lot to consider.
Yeah, more
than our feelings.
Yes, a whole lot more.
Russia's Russia. They finesse. That's the risk of going overseas.
Yep.
You fall into their jurisdiction.
They're gonna play you like a pawn.
Hell, the U.S. does it to its own people.
Yeah.
How many? Khalif Browder was in jail for 3 years with no conviction.
Yep.
So we America, the system can't really talk like that. Can't really judge them.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean?
Not at all.
But Victor Bout, I wish we would have got more, but I'm happy BG's home, and for me that's bottom line. She's home. He's over there, cool. It ain't like he gonna do his gun running again. Not over here.
And that's
We
the
know who
thing
he is
too.
now.
Like a lot of people were saying, well, it's the merchant of death. It's like, okay, first of all, not to make light of anything he's done. I don't really know his background, but I do know sensationalism. And I know that sometimes things get blown out of proportion because it's going to draw the right, the type of attention to it. A lot of people didn't know nothing about this guy until the situation happened.
I saw somebody comment in a post that he was the one that dropped off the guns. You know those stories about people, how gun dealers will drop off guns in the hood, and that's how the that's how the gangbangers was getting the guns.
So he was one of those guys.
He was one of those guys. I don't know how they know that, but okay.
Let's say that is what he did.
Maybe he's somewhat responsible for that. I don't know. I'm sure he wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't just him.
Right. It's the fact that
it wasn't just coming from Russia.
Like, I don't want anybody to stay in jail for anything that ain't necessary for them to be in jail for.
Let all the crack dealers go.
Thank you.
Why you got to go to jail for that? Just explain that to me. Why does it make?
Yeah, it's that it makes no sense.
You can sell sugar in stores.
Yeah. So
it missed me with that.
Some things are just overkill, and I think
free the guys.
Yeah, and I think this was something that was definitely overkill.
On Russia's part.
On Russia's part, yeah.
So
I think the United States.
That's Russia. That's based on our standards.
Again,
Russia is not what we would call the West.
They are not, definitely.
So it's like your kids come to my house, they gotta obey my rules.
True.
And vice versa.
True.
So it's but I'm glad BG home. Let's find ways to stay out of trouble over there. Let's not act American over there. You got to get with the customs. I'm sure and I'm certain that they got in-country briefs about how to move over there.
Do you think there's fake that there's fake support for Brittney Griner?
Fake support.
Fake support.
I think some of the support is political. Yeah, but
And I say fake support. I say fake support because with all the talk about the WNBA not being paid fairly, and the reason being because women don't support the WNBA.
This is definitely going to be a talking point in negotiations. Like our players shouldn't have to go over there to get money.
Because they are paying the hell out of her.
The WNBA is not generating the capital.
There's not the following is not here.
So maybe don't go to Russia because they probably ruined that.
But it's kind of hard to argue with getting paid twice, 3 times what you're getting paid here.
Yeah,
you
should go to China though. Go to China.
You can go to China. Everybody will be in China. But again, with the fake outrage or the fake support, like nobody was supporting the WNBA or her when she was here. You know what I'm saying? And now because she's freed, everybody wants to post about, she's free and she's, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, were you really supporting her when she was even here?
DEION Robinson said that
shout out DEION.
Fair doesn't mean equal.
Fair doesn't mean equal. That's very true.
It's not the same thing.
That's true.
It's not the same thing at all.
That's very true.
To the other point we was making about Deion Sanders, I just didn't want to run up past it. Vita said that Colorado's paying Deion Sanders 10 times what
can't argue with that. Can't argue with that.
You can't
argue with that at all.
They probably gonna need to name a wing after Deion.
For real. Shout out Danny Jones, man. Real quick. I gotta give Danny Jones a shout out, dude, because you out here clowning, brother.
Yeah,
what's good with you, boy?
Yeah, out here promoting us, man.
What's good with you, man? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, hit us up. 630-465-0229, man. Let us hear your voice, man. Shout you out.
We gotta
appreciate you, boy.
We make sure that's good to go.
Yeah. We are not what?
No, they should just inbox me. No. What they should do is hit the link.
Hit the link.
Let's put the link. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. So if somebody wanna
done. See how that work?
Hit reply and tell them what that is, though.
See how that work?
That way they could chime in that way. All right, man. Let's get to the shit people really want to hear from us.
Yeah. Can we let's get a quick break though.
Just get the audience. You sure?
Okay, well, let's go. Let's keep it going. Everybody, let's go. Fuck it, let's go. Hit us up on the StreamYard link, y'all. I'm posting in the group. All right.
Cypher Sick mentioned me in the comment.
Cypher Sick, what up with it, boy?
Where did he do that at? I don't know. I'll figure it out later. Say yo, hey, what up, boy? It's So we're gonna first topic. Not the first topic. This is the third topic.
Third topic.
Does your husband take on the role? I got to find a way to shorten that up. All right, here we go. All right, here we go, y'all. Gonna get into it now. Does your husband take on the role of your father? Does your wife take on the role of your mother? If so, in what ways? If not, why not?
Talk to us. Now, I'm gonna go. Give me a second because I'm gonna go to the. I posted this and the responses were quite interesting.
We're gonna go to some responses.
You know what I'm saying? So let me go to the responses real quick because I really do want to make sure we address some of these comments. Again, y'all make sure y'all hit us up on the StreamYard link, okay?
Yeah. I wish I could post the. Let us know if you want to comment, like chime in on the StreamYard live feed, and we'll send you the link. We'll get you the link because this is gonna get lost in the comments.
Well, oh yeah, that's right. It's in the comments. Did I post it on the? Do it this way.
We're gonna have to send it every time because it's gonna get lost in the comments.
You can't post it in the overview? The description? Can you edit the description and post it there?
Yeah, I can get a shot.
Try that, see if that works.
All right. Now, what were you about to say?
No,
let me do that. Go ahead and do go to the post.
So let's see. In the group. Bear with me, people. All right, here we go. So, husbands taking on the roles of the fathers, wives taking on the roles of the mothers, right? A few people didn't agree, and they didn't really tell why they disagreed. They just disagreed and kept walking, which is cool. So I'm gonna address the people who did speak. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna start shouting out these people so I want them to actually jump in this chat. All right. I gotta forgive us, man. We are pulling double duty down here. So, my girl Rochelle Lewis, shout out Rochelle. I appreciate you, baby girl. She says in some aspects, I agree with that. She says the husband takes on the role of protector, provider, and support, traditionally speaking, and the wife takes on the role of caregiver, nurturer, homemaker. And she says, I actually wish some of the more traditional roles and values were still in play these days. She says maybe marriages would work more. In my opinion, to which I am entitled, I say what I said. Okay, I feel you, baby girl. 1000%. And then my niece chimed in. What's going on, Carissa? Thank you for chiming in, baby. She says, at first look, I didn't understand what the status was. She's thinking, hell no. But then she started looking at what you said, and she started to see and understand what Rachel was saying. A few people took disagreement with this, and unfortunately, they didn't really, drop any comments or any logic behind it. So I'm kind of salty at y'all for that. But in line with what Rachel was saying, that's kind of what I was going for, which is basically there are things that saying that there are things that there are things that men do take over for fathers, and there are things that mothers take over for wives, or wives take over for mothers. And it is a very fair question. And a lot of people, I think, ended up getting, in their emotions about it, and they ended up thinking defensively when they heard it. What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing? I think they were thinking defensively about it. So some of the responses weren't very logical. So I'm not going to read those, but I will read Avens. He says, asked me about the concept of the uncovered woman. And so I asked him to go into detail about that. Get to it real quick. He says when women, especially when they're of the dating age, do not have fathers present who can fill that role, he says they tend to make decisions that they may not have made if a father was present or was there to protect and advise them. He says it's very noticeable to men who date them. What you think about that comment?
Say that again.
Ava says when women who don't have, basically when women don't grow up with a father, they end up making decisions that they otherwise wouldn't make had they have a father in play.
I mean, man, there's so many different dynamics nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
There's women that grew up with fathers that still make the silliest decisions ever.
That's true.
So I mean, who really knows? I always put it on the fellas. So we gotta put them in a position to win. You know what I mean? They submit so much to us when they give themselves to us that they risk looking silly if we don't set them up right, because they're allowing us to do that.
Dion just chimed in. He says her nurturing ways are her genuinely.
Her nurturing ways are her genuinely, and it takes a conscious effort for her not to be motherly with me. I get it. He's just simply saying that she got to on purpose try not to mother him to death. And I get that, because that happens a lot. Because especially if a woman is used to raising boys, what's the big difference between the woman raising her son and the woman tending to her husband? There's a thin line there. It's literally the type of intimacy, because you want the same things from her that she's giving the boys, except the discipline. Of course you don't want the discipline.
Of course you don't want the discipline.
But you want the food, you want the affection.
Yeah, and you don't want
you want the type of intimacy through your office.
You don't want the proximity in terms of mothers being overbearing.
No,
you don't want a woman who's taking up more space than she needs to, because she feels like that's part of her motherly instinct.
Well, that depends though, because some men, their wives control everything, and that's how they like it.
That's true too.
Some men don't iron their own shirts.
That's true too. And I iron my own shit.
So I'd rather not iron my shirt. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I mean, I'd rather not either, but I have no problem with doing it.
I ain't got a problem. I do, because that's why I wear t-shirts. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You gotta iron your t-shirts too.
I don't. I have wrinkle-free t-shirts. I'm fat, so they be wrinkle-free when I put them on.
Yeah, the wrinkles to stretch yourself out.
You feel me? Yeah. But there's thin lines here. A lot of people on the post that we were talking about, the first thing they went to was some sick stuff, talking about, making it seem like we're talking about women or men having sex with their parent. That's not the correlation.
And one of the comments, Shima, I'm kind of disappointed in you. In fact, I ain't gonna say I'm very disappointed in you, because this was. Come on now, we don't respond like this. We don't talk like this.
What'd she say?
She said that's sick. Disagree. No explanation necessary.
Yeah, it's very.
And then walks off like.
And it was come on, man. It's very necessary to explain what you mean.
Come on now.
How is it sick?
Come on. And then when I tell you that you triggered, you still don't. It's like, come on now. We can't have a dialogue if you're not bringing no comments to the table. You can't just drop your energy and then walk off. Like if you heard it one way, explain how you heard it so that we can have a dialogue about it.
Now, I get some women who feel like she feels. They are women who probably never had, or at least won't acknowledge that they've had a man care for them as a breadwinner. So for those women, I get the lack of acknowledgement of the correlation. I'm not saying they don't get the correlation, but I get the lack of acknowledgement.
I think sometimes women also tend to run to the extreme.
Well, often.
So when they hear, like the first part where a man takes over duties for a father,
he ain't my daddy.
Yeah, exactly. Then when you say, well,
she literally called me daddy last night.
See,
you know what I'm saying?
But then when it comes to
creepy, which is kind of interesting. I'm not gonna say creepy, but it's interesting because that authority dynamic that Nicole Harris brought up. She said, but there's the authority dynamic is different between a parent-child and a man and a wife. I was like, well, not in bed. They want us to take full authority in the room.
True. Not in bed.
She literally wants me to tell her what to do and put her where she need to be.
Right. But
so it's interesting, but it's there. You know what I'm saying?
So when people say sick, they can't separate that. So I'm saying, so some people hear that and they lump it all into one thing. You know what I'm saying? So when they hear the part where wives take over the duties for the mothers, they automatically hear, I'm taking care of a grown man.
Right.
And it's like, that's not what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the different aspects of motherhood that women bring to relationships. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you take care of your man, like wiping his ass and
That's different.
shit like that, that's a whole different ball game. But that's not what we're talking about.
That's where they take it so commonly though. So quick. They're so quick. A lot of people who get triggered and they so quick to take it there. And it's like, why are you even chime in? Because it seems like you're not even really trying to have the conversation.
Some people just want energy.
That's what you're looking for?
They just want energy.
Some people
just want energy.
If you just want some energy, holla at Big Bro. It's okay. Love you with the love of Christ.
Some people just want energy, man. It's a weird thing, but in this day and age, because of technology and access and the readiness of everything, people can do what they call energy grabs. You know what I'm saying? Or energy dumps.
Is that what that is?
That's what I call it. You know what I'm saying? Where I don't have to engage with you. I could easily just come here and dump my little opinion and walk the fuck off and leave you there dealing with whatever I just said.
Man, there's so many different names for everything now. Love bombing. I keep hearing that.
People make up their own terms according to what they're experiencing because there are no terms for it. You know what I'm saying? So you always gonna get something new coming out. It's the concept is not really that new. It's just that you putting a title to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't nothing new that's happening. It's just that we got to call it something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Do you have any other comments you want to read from there?
I do, because I want to get into Danielle's comment.
Oh.
And this is an
Do
example.
we really need to do that?
I mean,
I guess. Let's do it.
Right,
This is the deflection at its finest.
But before that, let me shout out to Nicole. Appreciate your comments, sweetheart. She says a large part of parenting is discipline. That alone would cause me to disagree. Additionally, I can see the point of the post, but a spouse is viewed totally different from a parent. There's an understanding in the parent-child hierarchy that commands the child view the parent as a superior. In a spousal relationship, even if the husband is acknowledged as the head of the household, both partners are still on a much more even keel. So I think that's another example of somebody kind of taking the question and then formulating it in their head immediately and running with it instead of actually sitting there breaking it down and understanding what we're saying.
Until you get in the bedroom. Even, you know what? Even before the bedroom, how many women have come to you and told you they need a leader? They're looking for a leader. If I'm your leader, that means I'm your superior in this context.
I've never heard a woman's never come to me and asked me to be her leader.
No. But in general conversation,
they put you in situations where you should be taking the lead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A woman once told me my grandfather was a leader. I asked her, that's like such an inflated concept though. I asked the woman, your grandfather was a leader. Where did he lead y'all?
What was her response?
What you mean where he lead us? He took care of home. Okay. What does that mean? My grandma didn't have to worry about nothing. Oh, okay, cool. So he paid the bills. Okay. Is that what makes him a leader? Hey, if that's what, and if I was willing to be like, if that's your definition, okay. I've had to lead. I led 20 guys, 15 of which didn't speak English as a first language when I was in the military. Leadership is
it's a little more than just paying bills.
You stumble upon leadership. You don't go looking for it. And hey, girl, I want to be your leader.
It don't work that way.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a hell of a pickup line, though. That's a hell of a pickup line. I want to be your
leader, baby.
That's a hell of a pickup line. I wouldn't run it, but some niggas might run it.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's interesting. Like, being a leader was scary for me. I ain't gonna front you.
It should be.
I was afraid. I'm in charge. I'm responsible for these guys' success.
It should be.
As a leader, I'm responsible for your success. You know what I'm saying?
Everything rises and falls with you as a leader. You take responsibility for everything.
I forgot who I was talking to, but I was telling them when I was married. They say, well, you were a leader, and that's how you talk. I'm like, no, I don't say that. I don't talk like that. In that house, I paid the bills. I went to work, paid the bills. Mm-hmm. She ran the house because the kids is there, and I'm at work all day, and I got to go for weeks at a time. So who's really the leader in that context? It's either her or it's just teamwork. That's the only way to look at that, if you ask me.
Shout out DEION. He says it's about nurturing from a woman and providing for a man. What is how their mind goes there? Okay, yeah. That was a typo.
I don't know exactly what he means.
It was a typo. It was a typo. He says discipline is way more than a believer in yelling. Discipline is about methods and regimes. He says my wife can discipline me.
No doubt. I mean, like when it's time to be checked, you got to be able to be checked.
I agree with that.
Of course, your wife should be able to say, "Hey, man, you tripping."
I agree with that. I mean, I don't think you should be married to somebody whose opinion you can't value.
Facts.
Otherwise, she's a liability.
And everybody need to be checks and balances.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just run off willy-nilly with power.
No.
You know, power corrupts, absolutely. So it's got to be checked.
There's a balance that needs to be struck. And if you don't have the proper counterbalance on the other side of you, you're going to have issues.
Who is B Inspired? Did BB change her name?
I don't know.
Talking about B Inspired.
Is that her? That might be somebody different. That's that BB?
That's BB right there.
Shout out, BB. How you doing?
I think that's BB.
Let me get to this comment real quick. Danielle chimed in. She says roles are similar, but there's a respect from spouse to spouse and also a sexual attraction. So there's a difference in the roles, and it's too much to break down in the post. Mommy can lick her finger and get the crust from his eye. Wife cannot. But wife can say there's something in your eye and give him a tissue.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
A wife cleaning her husband's eye isn't attracting a solid quality man that's a leader.
In that whole thread, she was arguing with me on that one. And her whole point was that if a man's wife wipes his eye, wipes coal out his eye, that makes him look weak.
No, she went back and forth for 13 comments. She was arguing with both of us.
Okay, cool. But that's the whole gist of what she was talking about. And it's never been further from the truth. What are you talking about? My woman can't wipe my eye? I don't understand. Like maybe she don't wipe her husband's eye, and that's cool. You know, that's her prerogative, but how does that make you weak? She failed to explain that to me. And then she went on to talk about how when you sit there and argue with a woman, well, I'm arguing with somebody on Facebook. I don't know you, lady. You want to call at me going back and forth with a woman and you think that's weak? I'm totally okay with you thinking that's weak.
She says a wife,
like, I lose no money.
A wife that gets coal out of her man's eye creates a controlling motherly dynamic. It's no if you choose it to be no. It was an example of what it is. Just one. I can do at least 50 more, but I wouldn't waste my time, which you've already done, with my null examples. Some dudes like mothering women, though. A mothering chick would try harder for you to understand.
And I responded, or it could be simply picking something out of his eye, because I don't understand how.
The rest of this conversation is
just didn't go nowhere.
Yeah, just trash.
And she's gonna tell me how I forgot what she told me, but it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. Shout out to Tiffany, man, for chiming in on the comment as well. Tiff's comment was, in a sense, yes, nurturing, provider, protector. She gets it. She goes and says, mothers nurture children as wives do husbands. Fathers protect and provide. Husbands do the same for wives. Not exactly in the same way, but across, and not necessarily across the board, but you know, you get what she's saying. Fathers
do protect and provide. What was it? What would she say? Protect, provide, and what else?
She says protect, provide.
Fathers definitely protect and provide the same way a husband would.
Mm-hmm. That's their job.
Definitely. That's now my why else is the father giving you to me in marriage? What else is the significance of walking your daughter down the aisle other than to hand off your duties to me?
And mothers don't give away daughters. And they don't give away sons either.
In a sense they do, but that's not the tradition in a wedding.
Right. They don't do it in the right. They don't do it in the wedding process.
Like I shouldn't be calling my mama first if I got a cold.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
My wife should tend to that first.
Shout out Nina. Nina gonna be on the show soon. Nita Addison, we love you, baby. She gonna be on the show soon. So
she talking like an old girl. What she say?
Well, Nina, she says I told her we're gonna chop this up when she get on, so be prepared.
Oh, that's fine.
She says not supposed to become parents to each other, supposed to be so different. Now some do it, especially if that's the way they feel or that's what they miss. Oftentimes it develops an unhealthy relationship. Y'all can become parent and child instead of lovers and friends.
That is just the cappiest cap. That is Cappadocious. Shop book. That is the biggest. Nina, I love you to pieces. Best cap. Who holds you when you're feeling away in your household? Who holds you when you're scared? Who holds you when you just need the affection? Who does the heavy lifting in your household, Nina? If you get pregnant, who's going to make the bacon, Nina, if you can't go?
And these are all questions lined up. So, Nina, when you get on,
you understand? You can't separate. You can separate. You can try to separate that if you like, but your husband is doing the same thing that or he needs to be prepared at least to do the same thing that your father does.
Yep.
You know, now I understand the independent women. No, I'm not even giving them a pass. Independent women he's still doing a lot of the stuff that your father did.
With independent women, they take over that role.
Who takes over the role?
They take over the role of their father.
No, but they really don't. They think they do, but they really do not.
No, what I'm saying is, when you're like, for example, a woman who's going into marriage, probably has little problem submitting that to her husband.
Right.
But an independent woman who is coming into a relationship where she now has to put that down may have a harder time submitting that to a dude because she's been the person protecting and providing for herself the way her dad didn't or would have.
Yeah, so she may not need substance from them, but she needs to be protected, held, and heavy lifting done. She'd much rather her man handle the oil change. Of course. She'd much rather he handle the tires.
Of course.
She'd much rather he handle cleaning her car. They don't do it.
That's all work.
You know what I'm saying? But these are things.
But she may not trust him to make this. She may not be as loose with the decision making on her behalf. Okay, like she'll let him go change the tires. She'll let him go put gas in the car. She'll let him go shovel the snow. She'll let him cut the grass. Of course.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to, hey, you need to be doing this as opposed to that.
She's less likely to give him control.
Of course.
Okay, cool. But all the other stuff your father still did.
I'm just saying that it'd be different. It definitely would be different.
It'll be different, sure. I mean, you know, I'll be breaking that down. I don't have those problems with them. They you know, because they don't even want to be that way. They just scared. They just they're a little more afraid than somebody else who's used to depending on it.
And if they're used to doing it, is that, like I say, if they're used to doing it, they ain't gonna get that to nobody else to do for them.
Every they won't stop you though either.
No.
When I've been with a woman, who's like that, and if I wanted to be with her, I had a situation recently where I wanted to be with her, so I'm kind of intimidated in a way because I haven't found my lane where she needs me at yet. I'm a man. I like to be needed.
We need to be needed.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But so I didn't see where she needed me at first. But I let the game come to me. And the first thing I remember doing for her was I paid for her gas.
How did that come about?
She was trying to hand me her car. She wasn't gonna pump her gas while I was in the car. So you know, she was trying to. I'm like, sit down, girl, what you doing? So she didn't like me telling her to sit down, but she got over it. And I pull out my car. She tried to hand me her car. Like, what are you doing? I'm paying for your gas. It's the same gas, ain't it? Okay. And when that happened, she started expecting it, and that was cool in that dynamic because I kind of needed that to happen. I kind of needed her to let a man be a man. You know what I mean? Yeah. I took her trash out if I spent the night. You know, I took her trash out. I put air in her tire when it got cold outside. For some reason, her tire started going flat. So, you know, I put the air in her tire. I did her store runs when she was cooking and she's missing an ingredient. Now she's getting comfortable with what it's like to have a man around. Now she's consulting me about what her next move should be. Because she's learning to trust.
You breaking down that wall.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't even really trying to break down a wall. I guess in a way I was, but that wasn't my thought process.
You just doing
I was just wanting to be a man to her. Let me do this for you, girl. Chill. If I'm just supposed to be your man, if I'm not here to make your life better, then why am I here? You know, she was definitely making my life better, but she didn't want it done for her because unless she starts depending on people and get disappointed.
Let me jump to these comments real quick because they're coming fast.
They're coming. We getting comments?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get.
Shout out Dion on top of it, man. Shout out Ro Bryant, man. Listen, Ro Design Services in the house, man. Love you, girl. She says, unless that independent woman isn't ready for a man. That's true too. Because if she's not ready for a man, she won't drop that independence.
How often have you ran into an independent woman that wouldn't let you have your way? How often? I'm sure it's happened before. But
I mean, that doesn't last. It doesn't last too long.
What doesn't last too long?
Once women feel like they can trust you.
Right. And that whole independent woman jive falls to the ground.
Yeah.
Often enough. I'm gonna say 8.5 out of 10.
Bro says a lot of women don't know what it feels like to be with a real man.
They don't even really know how to define a real man. They just look at what their grandfather did or something like that. 2022 offers a different kind of man in a lot of ways.
So then would the question
women
be,
are
what's a
working
real
now.
man in 2022?
Unfortunately, yeah. Well, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different because
if you're going by grandparent standards or granddaddy standards, it's a whole different world.
The average man is a different dynamic than it was 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Women are working. That changed the game. Why do I say that? I've said this before. Women are now, when did they come in the workplace?
70s.
In mass, like the 70s, right? Well, of course, they did it during World War II, but the men came home and got the jobs back. But they came in mass in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, something like that. Mm-hmm. They didn't make extra jobs for the new competitors in the workforce. They didn't make extra jobs, so now women are competing with men. Of course, men not being able to have as many jobs as they had access to before, of course they were going to be different as they raised their sons. Uncle Sam gave them some money. They didn't need us no more. Then they got in the workforce, didn't need us anymore. Of course, what a man is to them is going to change years later. It was inevitable. I know a lot of women were like, well, they could just start a business. Most of us were not taught how to a side hustle, let alone businesses. That's why so many boys is out there selling crack.
That's their first business.
Because that's the only side hustle a lot of them knew. Now, the average young man is not a crack dealer, don't get me wrong. But for those who would go that route, you know what I mean? You either was a crack dealer, trying to rap, trying to play ball, or you was a bum. Mm-hmm. Aside, those are the middle guys. You got one extreme, you got the middle, and then you got the people who really got it done in the workforce. You know what I mean?
Ro chimed in. She says, I define a real man as someone who's willing to be a participant in the relationship in whatever capacity he is needed. That's
peace. I think one of the problems with a real man or a real woman is there's no more cultural dictate that people respect. There needs to be a cultural dictate. Most of us need to be accountable to a group, whether that be the church, the mosque, your family. Most of us need to be accountable to a group.
There's got to be a standard there somewhere.
You know what I'm saying? There's got to be a standard. There's got to be somebody you got to be able to look at and say, damn, they wouldn't want me to do that. Mm-hmm. Who do you respect like that? If you don't respect anybody like that, there's a problem. You set your own rules. And that's a problem when everybody's setting their own rules. Yep. I hear people say all the time, people just need to do their own thing. I'm afraid of that. We're looking at the world left to its own devices right now. Yeah. I don't like how it looked.
Everybody does their own thing. There's no standard.
I don't like how it looks at all. We willy-nilly, we don't know what a woman is or a man is anymore.
And that's what happens when you don't got standards.
What's the guy's name? I forgot his name, but Candace Owens, this is a very intelligent man. And they asked that man, Candace Owens asked him, can a man have a baby? His was, it depends.
Well, under 2022 standards, it does depend.
You know what I'm saying? Because now we're doing the whole man and woman is a social construct.
I mean, what's a woman now?
The gender is a social construct. But we just talked about how in the dictionary, what is a female? A woman. Same thing. We talked about how on a job application, they said whether they asked your gender or your sex, it said male or female. They were always interchangeable. But now all of a sudden they're not interchangeable because some group decided that we're offended by the lack of separation. Alphabet community, don't shoot me.
I was gonna say that was bullshit.
You know what I mean? Now I got to look at a whole girl, and decide and try to decide or decipher if she's a boy or not, or wants to be called a boy. How do I know that?
Now you got something extra to teach your sons when they come to date.
I have not taught my sons about these things. I shall not. I ain't teaching nothing. They learned it in school, and that's where it stops. We're not going to have a deep conversation about it in my house. because, you know, and it's sad that maybe my son might have to take a chance one day and don't know if it's a girl or not and have to find out the hard way. It is what it is. That's the world we live in.
I ain't letting my boy run into that.
You ain't gonna have a choice.
I ain't gonna have a choice, but I'm definitely gonna hip him to what's going on.
No. I hear that. You know, I no doubt. But me,
I'm definitely gonna give him a couple extra steps to take to try to figure it out the best way he can.
Only thing I told my son was don't be shocked if it's something you wasn't looking for. And now the oldest is in the Air Force, so
hopefully you don't run into that.
He's gonna. Who knows?
Let me get up to DEION responded again. He says, quote, women's liberation told black women they don't need a man. Liberation told the other races of women that they can help their man and their family. So I guess he's saying that while women's liberation was telling black women they don't need a man, it was telling other races to support their man and their family. Which, I mean, if you look at it now, I mean, yeah, you see the results of that.
You know, I hear that all the time. But did it say that?
I mean, I didn't read it, so I couldn't tell you.
Like,
I could look it up.
I
think overall, I think that's what the movement. That's what they're saying. The movement was.
I mean, is that how we took it, or is that what they said? That's what I wonder. If I'm being objective, I wonder, is that how we took it, or is that what they said?
Well,
what I personally think is that black men were made to look weaker than maybe some of the other ethnicities, and so of course women will buck against that. You're weak. Sharks smell blood. What they gonna do?
Right.
I think that's part of it. I don't know that the movement itself said, "Hey, black women, fight against your black men." I feel like we took it that way. I feel like they just took it that way. I don't know what would make them take it that way, but I haven't heard or seen the rhetoric that says, "Hey, black women, y'all do this. White women, y'all do this."
And again,
y'all men.
Some of that could also be just, dissecting other people's opinions, chopping it up like now. Somebody put out a statement, everybody jumps on that statement, bites it,
and does what they do with it,
and do what they do.
They take sound bites,
right,
so to speak, from the statement, and they come up with what they come up with.
Let's get a break in real quick.
Y'all bear with us, man.
Yeah, hold on for 1 second.
Well, it's probably gonna be like.
What up, Vita?
It's probably gonna be like 7 minutes, but
shout out Vita. Vita just said, I think you should teach your kids what's going on in the world and ask questions. If they're a boy or girl, you need to tell them to hold on, because the comment just came in and knocked that out. You need to tell them to look at the birth certificate.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, how many of us are asking for people's birth certificate? I've never. I ain't gonna lie to you.
But back to the comment about men taking over the role. I think we kind of veered off a little bit.
We did.
But what was interesting to me was how quick people were to shut off, like to make a decision on what they saw and just keep it moving.
They got triggered off the first few words of the sentence. They couldn't have sat and processed it. They just took whatever the trigger was at that point and ran with it.
And how often does that happen?
How
often
enough.
Do you think that happens daily?
We're in a microwave society, so it happens all the time.
So what would that do to perspective?
I don't know. It might do something to theirs. It don't change mine.
I mean, but the average person's perspective is not built on anything. It's built on shit.
And that's always been the average person's perspective. It's never been different. I don't ever expect it to be different. I expect most people to not think for themselves most of the time. That's because that's what I've seen throughout my life. I trust patterns.
That's sad.
Is it sad?
Yeah, it's sad.
I think it has its place.
It has its place, but it's still sad.
I hear it. Well,
it's fucked up.
It's such as
it's
life.
Fucked up because you can't have solid conversation with people without people getting into their emotions because people get triggered so quickly.
You never were. The thinkers never were supposed to go talk to everybody.
That's true too.
So why did you?
That's true too.
If you can't talk to them, you can't talk to them. Such is life. Let them go do what they do. I'm sure they shine somewhere else.
Vita, you're asking us what the subject is.
It's on the screen, baby girl. But right now, we're finna go to some music. We gotta stay down by Taco. Shoptalk 7, my radio.
Shout out Taco, man.
App. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta turn this radio. You gotta turn.
What they saying, I stay down. saying I stayed down. What they saying I stayed down. What they saying I stayed down. What they saying I stayed down. I stood on my 10, never laid down. A nigga was broke, now I'm paid now. Bet it's all in my face now. My brother not fighting no case now. I promise this, better stay out. We ballin' like we in the playground. We killing these, they know that. They taking them shots, call it Kodak. But what they say, we ain't on that. And y'all on their feelings, they hate now. I pull up, they put in their face down. All these saying, hey, now. What they saying, I stayed down. 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 What they saying, I stayed. I'm down on my city, they know that. I got them all on my ball cap. They all on my sack. Tell all my haters to fall back. All I say love is a no-no. Need this and next for the promo. I got the truth on my logo. What they saying, I stayed down. I'm never cutting my braids out. I'm finally catching my wave now. And y'all on their feelings, they hate now. I pull up, they put in their face down. All these saying, hey, now. What they saying, I stayed down. 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 What they saying, I stayed down.
It was the first day of the summer. You came rolling next to me, asking when I'm gonna give you my number. I don't know. It's a possibility. I hope you know it's only for the summer. It's like 4 months, 8 weeks. Hoping you ain't catching feelings, boy. You know I be chillin', boy. So yeah, kill the noise, please. Anywhere, cruising down Fifth, looking like a shot. I'm that bitch, you know it. You my genie, I'ma rock you, make a wish. You got what I need for a few weeks. Like, hey, you can be my summer babe. We can play around all day. I got what you need, only for a season, baby. You were meant for me. Like, hey, won't you come around my way? We can play the games you play. Ain't no love in me from June to September, baby. You got what I need, oh baby. Anywhere, cruising down Fifth, looking like a shit. I'm that bitch, you know it. It's the end of our summer season. Hope you getting ready for tonight. We're gonna party like we got a reason. Like it's the last night of our life. I hope you know we got an expiration. So get rid of all your expectations. Hoping you ain't catching feelings, boy. You know I be chillin', boy. So yeah, kill the noise, please. Anywhere, cruising down Fifth, looking like the shit. I'm that bitch, you know it. You my genie, I'ma rock you, make a wish. You got what I need for a few weeks. Like, hey, you can be my summer babe. We can play around all day. I got what you need, only for a season, baby. You were meant for me. Like, hey, won't you come around my way? We can play the games you play. Ain't no love in me from June to September, baby. You got what I need, oh baby. Anywhere, Cruising down Fifth, looking like this shit. I'm that bitch, you know it. Hey, you can be my star, my babe. We can play games you play. Ain't no loving me. Only for a season, baby, you are meant for me. You can be my star, my babe. We can play around all day. I got what you need. Only for a season, baby, you were meant for me. Like, hey, won't you come around my way? We can play the game you play. Ain't no loving me. From June to September, baby, you got what I need all day.
Appreciate you guys, man. Yes, sir.
Shoptalk 7 in the building, y'all. We back. Peace to the chief strategist and company. You know what I'm saying? Leaving the building.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all jumping by, man.
Running the political campaign with the running for alderman. What's his name? Golly, I forgot the card.
Yeah, now I have his card.
Goodness gracious. We gotta get that together.
Dude.
But all right, so new topic. What are the pros and cons of being in a relationship?
Pros and cons of being in a relationship.
We're gonna attempt to be very objective about this.
Pros and cons of the relationship. Okay, let's go with the. I tell you what, let's do it this way, because I don't want it to come into a situation where we're piling up the cons too much or we're piling up the pros too much. So I think it'd be easier if we kind of go back and forth. So for every pro, we'll do a con.
You gonna do the pros? I'll do the cons. Oh, we both do a pro and a con.
We do it that way.
What, you do the pros, I do the cons?
No, we do pro and con.
All right.
So
let's do the pros first.
Pros.
What's your pro?
Have a teammate. You have somebody who has committed to being a partner with you in life. Now, to what capacity that is could vary. But on its face, you have a partner, you know. If you are sharing the workload in terms of bills, you have somebody to do that with. If it's in terms of building a household together, you have a partner to do that with. If it's sex, you have a partner now to do that with. Traveling, whatever it is.
You're taking all my stuff.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go. What are your pros or beauty?
I thought we was gonna do one at a time.
Okay, well, but that was the same pro though.
No, it wasn't. It was
Yes,
like
it was.
7 different ones.
No, it's the same pro though.
How?
Because the pro is you have a teammate, so you have somebody who, if you want to pay bills together, you have a teammate. If you have, you want.
Well, the whole thing is teammate. It falls under teammate.
Okay. All right. Well, you have somebody to have sex with dedicated. You have a dedicated person to have sex with.
Definitely took my next one then.
Okay. This is not working very well.
There's cons. The cons are left.
All right, let's go there then. Okay, let's start at one.
Oh man, it's more pros.
It's more pros, of course. I think.
You got somebody to take care of your babies.
Yeah.
No, teammate. What are the pros? Yeah, I guess you covered it all. With your teammate description.
Because I guess that does kind of cover the whole gamut, right? But in the weeds, what would that teammate look like? Do you need a teammate for sex?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta have a teammate for sex. I mean,
okay.
I do. Maybe.
But some people may think that. Some people may say, "Well, I'm showed up. That's all the teammate I need to be." I'm here to have sex, but you'll be the one doing everything. But
those are assholes, and I don't promote those people.
Not a very good teammate. Yeah, not a very good teammate. But what do you need out of a relationship? Saying
I need food. Got somebody give me some food.
Food is always good.
I don't like to cook. I don't mind helping, but I don't like to lead the charge. As far as cooking, I just don't.
Yo, what's good, Xavier? What's going on? Double X?
That's just not who I am.
What's good with it, brother?
My mama told me, not my mom, I forgot who that was, told me, you're gonna need to learn how to cook. No, I don't.
And my dad taught me
my life has shown me that I don't need to learn how to cook.
My life has shown me that I do.
Yeah, we got different lives. I don't know what we
do.
Mine has shown me that I'm gonna get a slim to cook. Well, I mean, I will cook for myself. I'm not going to starve, and I have learned how to cook good enough for me to eat. But my life overall has shown that I'll get a meal.
I mean, I'm gonna get a meal because I'm gonna make it myself. Now, if I have somebody to do it, great. But I ain't gonna rely on it. And I ain't gonna starve if they're not there.
No, nobody's gonna starve. Nobody who has the ability to grab resources is gonna starve. But there's those of us who just prefer, oh girl, do it.
I got you. I prefer old girl do it too.
I like when Shorty bring me a plate. It's the move.
I do too. DEION, he says, pro companionship on a Switch. Okay, companionship on a Switch.
You must be considerate.
Must be considerate.
Bro, you'll always have someone there with you. As long as consider themselves your mate, I guess. Yeah.
As long as they want to be there. If they are there if they're there and they're miserable, it ain't gonna be much of a benefit, I guess.
Here's a con: you got to give up some of your friends.
Yeah.
In most relationships, you have to give up some of those friends where y'all tote the line.
Either give up some of your friends or give up some of your friend activity.
Which women be knowing how to sniff that out.
You know what I'm saying?
Women be knowing how to sniff that out. So for me, I've always if me and you toted that line, for the most part, I'm not reaching out much while I'm in a relationship.
Right.
Because
you try to respect their space of the relationship.
I'm trying to respect my woman.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want her in the room with a chick I might have smashed if it went there. Because when we tote the lines with our female friends or our friends of the opposite sex, that's kind of what we're doing. We're toting that line. I ain't talking about just simply being flirtatious, but it'd be a difference.
Yeah.
The ways y'all refer to each other and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Here's a pro. There's somebody to share the mental and emotional strain
to share
of life.
The mental or the emotional to share it.
Either share it or help you manage it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. When I say share, I mean like if you.
When I'm hurt, when you hurt, I'm hurt. Types. Yeah, they help you through it.
Either because they're empathetic or because we're in the same situation, we're in the same boat.
It's the idea of not being alone.
Not necessarily not being alone, but having somebody who's there to actively support.
I think it's what you just said, but I also think it's definitely not being alone.
That's part of not being alone. Yeah, but there's something for some. I mean, it's one thing to have somebody that's there and say, okay, I'm just here. I'm here for you. But it's another thing for somebody to actively try to find ways to help you while they're there, as opposed to saying, okay, well, you're going through what you're going through. I'm gonna wait it out. I'm still here though, but I'm gonna wait it out. Versus, what else can I do? Well, let me try this. Let's see about this. Let's talk this way. Let's talk about this. You know what I'm saying?
Vita says, being in a relationship helps you learn more about yourself. Let me think about that. I don't know.
It does. I agree with that.
I'm focusing less on myself. I feel like I'm sorting through the process. I'm sorting through the thought process right now. I don't have an answer for that yet or response.
Yeah. I agree with that, Vita. I agree with that because when you're by yourself, when you're alone, shout out Eugene, appreciate you, man. When you're alone, when you're single, you kind of wrap yourself in this cocoon of I could do what I want to do.
No doubt.
And you kind of make up your rules, or not even make up your rules, but you kind of live life according to your own standard. But when you decide that you want to bring somebody into your space, suddenly you have to question your space now.
Deion Robinson said one of the cons is you have to be considerate.
Exactly.
That's a con.
So now, I
agree.
So now you have to figure out how to fit this person into your life comfortably without losing yourself to the person. You know what I'm saying? So it does force you to try to learn more about yourself, because now you're challenging things that you previously didn't have to. You think you're right in your own regard, but now when somebody else presents something alternative to you, now you suddenly have to figure out how you want to deal with that.
Do you consider that a pro or a con?
I consider it a pro depending on who you're dealing with.
That sounds like a big old con to me. Mm-hmm. Some cons are good though, because it'll force you to challenge.
Then that makes it a pro.
It'll force you to challenge yourself. Well, I mean,
that makes it a pro then.
Eventually.
Yeah, it makes it a pro.
It's a pro eventually. It ain't a pro off top. Like when I gotta challenge myself because you bringing something to me that I ain't used to, I'm not looking at that. My first thought about that ain't pro. My first thought about that is I want to say something to you to hurt your feelings, but I'm gonna calm down.
Mhm.
Then later is like, and later could be an hour later, you know. But then it's like, oh, okay, now I see it.
So,
I see what you mean.
So, in light of what Vita was saying, one thing that I've learned is figuring out why that triggers me. You know what I'm saying? Why does that bother me? For example, sagging bothers the fuck out of me. It just bugs the shit out of me when guys sag. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. Why do I need to see your underwear? Why is it that you're buying expensive clothes simply to literally show me your underwear?
Mhm.
I don't understand it. It drives me crazy.
Okay.
I can't change it. So I have to figure out what is it about that drives me nuts. And then I need to figure out why I'm giving so much energy towards that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then once I figure out why I'm giving the energy towards that, I can now manage not giving any energy towards it at all. You see what I'm saying? So that's something that I know I need to practice. When you're in a relationship, sometimes, let's say you think you're always right.
I am.
Well, that may be something you need challenged because you may not be right all the time. You know, it's fact. Let's say you don't let's say you don't take up for yourself enough, right? You get into a relationship with somebody who's constantly putting you in situations where you now need to take up for yourself, or you should speak up for yourself, or they're highlighting places where you should speak up for yourself, you know, like at work or at your family or stuff like that. That's something that you need to change. You know what I'm saying? It may be uncomfortable at first because it's not something that you're used to, and getting critiqued doesn't feel good. It kind of puts you in defensive mode automatically.
No, never feels good to me.
You know?
Right.
So sometimes you have to be bruised up a little bit, agitated a little bit to really see, okay, you know what, that's probably deeper than I think it is. I probably should deal with that a little bit more. I may need to look into that a little more, you know.
I'm just hardwired nowadays that I'm always looking for ways to not snap. Commonly it comes after I snap.
Okay.
Or after I become chippy about a thing.
Mhm.
If let's say if Vita bothers me in some way. Yes, she bothered me in that way, and I stand on that. That bothers me. Why would you do that? But my thought process of dealing with it is literally what I first want to do is learn how to deal with it in a way where I'm not snappy.
Mm-hmm.
So I can come to her in a way about it to where it's safe for us to deal with it. Okay. I don't want her to feel like I'm mad at her, because we're still building our foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And I want our foundation to be one where it's safe to come talk to me, regardless of what it is.
Yep.
That don't mean I won't get mad sometimes, but I want her to know my intentions.
Mm-hmm.
So I commonly, if she do make me mad about something, and usually if she make me mad, it wasn't even nothing really to get mad about. As I think about it later, I'm just triggered for whatever reason at that point.
So that's right. So that right there goes right to what you're saying in terms of learning about yourself.
Well, I still wouldn't say that because
Well, think about it.
I'm already knowing that I'm that type of person.
But do you know why you're triggered? Like in that, like
no.
And
through this process, still to this day, I've never sorted out why I'm triggered. I just always figured, hey, triggered is not the way to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
So I still don't be figuring out why. I don't know. I'm going to counseling to deal with this stuff soon. But whether, because for me, it's like, regardless of the reason why,
mm-hmm.
I still shouldn't respond that way.
Right.
That's the bottom line for me.
Right.
So that's what I deal with. I deal with my own discipline,
mm-hmm.
regardless of what happens. Unless in my mind I feel like she's out to hurt me, I shouldn't respond this way. And I don't know if she does the same thing or not. She don't really respond to me wild. That'd be me, as far as energy is concerned.
Yeah, in my head, I just have this urge to just figure out why. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really, really interested in the mechanics behind why, because I know that those mechanics change often, and people do and say things, out of a change in mechanics all the time. Which is one reason why I believe that relationships really do help you see yourself. You know, I know there have been times when I have to ask myself, why is what she's saying irritating the hell out of me? You know, why? Why is it that when you start talking like this, my automatic go-to is to do this or to shut down? You know what I'm saying? And through that process, I've learned why I do certain things. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes you can trace them back to childhood. You know, you can trace them back to even certain events where you're like, okay, from that moment on, when that happened, I then started, you know, handling it this way. You know, for example, I may shut down quick because at, you know, one point in my life, this happened and I stopped talking about it. Or I gave up trying to explain it. So a lot of the behaviors that people have in relationships be shit that they've been cultivated over the years, they haven't really paid attention to. They're taking it into relationships and it's affecting their relationship. They ain't quite understanding why. A lot of times it's not the other person triggering you, it's you trying to understand why you're triggered to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Because everything, and then like you said, sometimes you'll go back and think about it and be like, that wasn't worth it. Yeah, what was I tripping about?
I've just developed this mentality of why it doesn't matter as much as that you would do it. So it's like, and I'm also big on not diagnosing myself. Some people are good at that. I'm not. I'm not. I don't like that. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm better at it than I think, but I just never liked it. You know what I'm saying? I never liked the idea of saying. I've never liked the idea of deciding that I was handsome, or that I was a leader, or that I was mature, or that I was good at this or good at that, or I have this problem or that problem. I just know something. If something is wrong and it's not conducive to the environment, I change it. I've always let counselors deal with this. I've had a counselor maybe 3 times in my life, and I'm going to do it periodically, you know, throughout my lifespan. And I'll unpack it there, because what I do find is commonly it's just a bunch of stuff I need to unpack and deal with. And I personally still haven't pieced together which is the problem, but I do know that after I unpack certain things, I feel better. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Regardless of what I got going on, I shouldn't be making it hard to communicate with me.
I agree with that. Because that's accountability. For me, I ask myself that too, you know, because I don't want to do it again. But I also want to ask myself, like what led me to make that decision? You know what I'm saying? Like, what things happened to where that was the choice that I made in tone, or if that was the choice that I made in rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? Or if that was the energy that I chose to make or chose to give. Because I want to be able to recognize when it's about to happen again, if it happens later. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm talking with somebody and the conversation goes into politics, and all of a sudden they start talking about how they feel about the Republican Party, and all of a sudden I start feeling myself getting an attitude and getting like, those are the moments when I'm starting to think to myself, as this is happening, what's going on with me? Why is it that this person telling me how they feel or giving me their opinion, why is that drumming up this energy in me? You know what I'm saying? Is what they're saying hurtful or harmful to me? No, they're just giving a difference of opinion, but it's rubbing me all the wrong way for whatever reason. That's not their fault. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to react to somebody who has a difference of opinion like that. I should be able to just listen to them, accept their difference of opinion, and move on. You know, I don't have to take it personal, but for some reason, I'm sitting here listening to this person talk and I'm taking it personal. Why? You know, I personally, well, for me, it's been helpful in learning and understanding that. So then when I run into people or I meet new people who are exhibiting the same traits, I don't default to that, you know, that kind of behavior or that kind of energy. So for me, it's been very helpful. And I know everybody's approach is different. You got to do what you got to do, whatever works. But I think the why has always been an important question to me, because it tells you so much more about the logic behind whatever you're talking about. You know?
Yeah, why is important to me, but I've always get jumbled up because I've just, my brain records a lot of weird stuff. So it's like, I'll come up with a why. Let's say the reason why I yelled is because my father yelled at me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll start thinking like, is that the reason? Because I know people whose father yelled at them and they don't yell.
Well, maybe that's the reason they don't yell, because their father yelled at them. So it could be, both could be true, whereas in your example, you mirrored the behavior, and in somebody else's example, they act opposite of the behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dad yelled at me, so I don't want to yell at y'all.
Yeah, I think what tends to happen is I don't want to accept that I'm that weak, and I totally understand that doesn't make you weak in totality.
Why do you think that? Why do you say that?
I don't like that weakness. I don't like that form of weakness. It's like, I'm really doing this because somebody else did it. Like, I'm doing this bad thing because somebody else did it. I like the idea that I'm more disciplined than that. I very well may not be, right? But it's, in my mind, it's like, nah, homie, we ain't finna accept that.
I don't want to call. I mean, I wouldn't call it a weakness, because what you're brought up with in your environment shapes you. Yeah. In sometimes in small ways that we don't quite understand or acknowledge. Yeah,
but if it's not good for me, it's a weakness, right? I understand that it doesn't make me weak in totality, but that's just how I identify those things. It's a strength or a weakness. If it helps me, it's a strength. If it doesn't, it's a weakness. Okay. Does it make me weak in particular? Maybe, right. I don't think so. I've done some weak shit. I've done some weak nigga shit in my life. Does that make me weak overall? I don't know. It depends on the user. But,
like, for example, people who are alcoholics, because they kind of family full of alcoholics, and now they're alcoholics. Well, I guess you would say that that's a weakness, but
it's definitely a weakness. It's 100. If you can't control something, that's a weakness.
Okay, we'll call it that then.
I'm sure not a strength.
No, it's definitely not a strength. That definitely is not. That definitely is not.
Anything controls you, you have a weakness.
Yeah.
Pussy, drugs, alcohol, money, gambling, sneakers, cars. It's a weakness.
Yeah. So then that would definitely be a con, I guess. Right.
We're all off topic.
I mean, no, we still on topic. What are the pros and cons of being in a relationship? Well, we were talking about being in a relationship, being able to, show yourself and see yourself in a relationship.
The con I drew up was you can't talk to your friends the way you would normally deal with them. You got to get rid of your old ones. That's a con to me. I mean,
do you have to though?
In most situations, yeah.
I don't know, man.
I do know. I know that in most situations, if you line up a random 10 people and say, do your girl or do your guy got to get rid of their old ones? I'm willing to bet 7 out of 10 of them and say, yeah.
Get rid of their old friends?
Your digs.
Oh, that's different. I'm thinking you talking about
No, I'm talking about old you digs.
Like my friends. These are my friends.
My friends, and you can't say my friends are old. They're not old. They're my friends right now.
Right.
But your exes, you get,
Yeah. I mean, now
sometimes that's a con sometimes because you like how you flowing right now.
Yeah.
And then you meet this woman and you decide that she's important enough to get rid of those. I mean, that's not always the happiest space. You're gonna do it. Luckily for me, I didn't really have old ones. I didn't have exes around. I had women I was hollering at the time that I met Vita, and they just fell off because that's the natural progression of that when you're dating and then you pick one.
What if your exes turn into friends?
Mine don't.
Okay.
Because I stay away from that. I ain't friends with no exes. We cordial. If I saw them on the street, hey, how you doing? Mm-hmm. But we ain't friends. I'm not putting Vita in front of them.
I mean, I get it. I wouldn't do that either.
Yeah. And I don't have sidebar conversations with them. At this point, I don't have sidebar conversations with anybody that my girlfriend hasn't met.
Okay. That's fair.
Because I just want to stay out of trouble.
That's fair.
There's no reason.
No, that's fair. That's totally fair. I don't agree that you have to get rid of your friends. I mean, I do agree that you definitely have to.
Not your friends.
Yeah.
Not your homies.
Yeah, you definitely got to get rid of.
Not your real homies.
If you got any potential connections or.
Yeah, your friends and your homies are not the ones I would consider old ones. Yeah. They homies. Hell, even I've had situations where I eventually had to back off a friend that I used to be with. I didn't like it because we did what we did, and maybe she had feelings for me still. But regardless of that, that person was there for me through thick and thin, even outside of us being in a relationship. This was years ago. That wasn't fun to get rid of.
But you had to cut them off.
You know what I mean?
And did you cut them off for somebody that was actually worth cutting them off for, or did you cut them off and realize, holy shit, man, me and this chick ain't even stayed together long enough, and I done gave up a potentially lifelong friend.
Me and the chick didn't stay together long enough. But I wouldn't say that she wasn't worth it, because the reason we didn't stay together long enough was because I was tripping.
Okay.
So maybe she could have very well been worth it, but I didn't let it go long enough to find out.
Okay.
The type of person she was, I foresaw her being worth it, but I still don't like that kind of thing. So since then, I just don't do that. You know, I just don't keep the exes around. Yeah. As a habit.
Okay. I mean, that's safe too. You know,
because I don't want to be having to get rid of people. You know what I mean? If you was valuable to me, you valuable.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm not gonna lie, if I'll say this, I will not advise a guy to be with a woman that won't let him keep his friend, regardless of how they became friends. If that friend is valuable to you, and you know what I'm saying,
that's where I was about to go with.
You know, luckily in my situation, that wasn't my case, so I didn't have to deal with that. But if I had did that and my friend was valuable,
I'm saying, because
I'm not getting rid of my friend, and I just probably would have risked not having that person, you know.
And that's what I was kind of getting to, because I know the rule of thumb is normally when you get into a relationship, whatever rubs the other person the wrong way, the mind is that you make adjustments to make them comfortable.
Yeah. And
my pushback with that is, if you have lived and had moments and times and shared time and energy and space with people who mean something in your life,
right,
and who have inputted into your life and who have helped shape your life, you know what I'm saying? Maybe during your single stint, you know, you partied a lot, but these are the people you hung with. These are the people who had your back. These are the people who you went and talked to. These are the people who, you know, helped you out when you were in need. These are the people that you could lean on when you need it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then you get into a relationship and suddenly you now have to be a different person to those people based on the new person that has now shown up in your space. I kind of feel like that's unfair.
It feels unfair.
I think that's unfair to the person who has the friends, and then unfair to the friends who have been nothing but friends.
And look, it's like,
you know,
and I ain't gonna front. My woman got a guy around that she was smashing, but they really friends. If I meet a woman and it's like that, I might not be with her. I ain't gonna lie, but same time on my end, I'm not as likely to give that up either, because I just and you know, and I'll have to deal with that battle myself. There are certain things that I'm willing to take the social hit for.
And granted, that's a specific kind of a relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, just because y'all smashing don't mean it's just about smashing. You know, that person really could be somebody who's inputting into your life. That person could really be somebody that is giving you something that you may need at the time, even though y'all just smashing.
Yeah, but I guess this is why
you know,
this is why you
have those conversations though.
Well, this is probably why all this breaking up we all doing is bad for us. This is why, because you run into these stupid ass situations. You know what I mean?
Well,
most of us broke up because we didn't try. That's my opinion. I'll blindly say it. I'll pick in any 10 couples and say 6 of them didn't try when they broke up. How do you define trying? I'm gonna put that. It's gonna be a banner.
How do you define trying? I'm
gonna put that question up.
Hey, be specific. In a relationship or in life?
In a relationship. Sorry. In a relationship.
Let's be specific. Because you know people that run all over the world with that one.
How do you define trying in a relationship?
If you have a bunch of homies, some gotta be cut off, period. Fine, cut off, Dion.
You don't know. It sounds pretty clear to me.
I mean, it's clear.
They gotta go. They can't be around no more.
So you just get rid of your friends?
If you got a bunch of homies, some of them gotta probably go because some of them are probably inappropriate. What if you got 10 female? He's talking, and obviously he's talking about the friends, people of the opposite sex.
I thought. I mean,
yeah.
That's why I asked, because if you're talking about, because you could be talking about 10 homies.
Yeah.
I mean, he said homies. You got 10 homies. Don't get me wrong. Some of your guys are just single niggas.
He'll explain it, but that's just me having communicated with him a lot.
Okay, he's talking about women.
So I know what he's talking about.
Okay, so he's talking about something you're talking about.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, so how do you define trying in a relationship?
Trying in a relationship.
Yeah, like what is like like I said, a lot of people gave up and didn't try. So how we? I'm gonna say try, not trying.
Okay.
How do you define try?
I'll take my situation for example, because I actually filed for divorce. And it took me a while to get to a place where that was even something that I felt like I needed to even do, or even wanted to do. But a series of incidents happened where that made the only logical sense at the time. Waiting it out was too much of a risk. So I don't necessarily think that I gave up. Well, I guess you could say that, because when you quit, you
Did
quit.
y'all go to counseling?
With counseling?
How many times?
A few times.
Did y'all go with the intent of?
No, we didn't do premarital counseling.
No. No, that's not what I'm saying. Did y'all go with the intent of fixing the marriage, or did you go to be right, to see who's wrong?
I went with the intentions of fixing the marriage, but while there, it was obvious it wasn't going to be fixed.
What made it obvious?
What made it obvious?
Yeah.
The differences in reality.
And nobody was budging?
I wasn't definitely not finna budge.
And she wasn't budging?
No.
Because you got to budge on both sides.
Under those,
there's got to be compromises.
I agree with that. Under that circumstance, I didn't see any wiggle room to compromise.
Oh, there she go. Vita's there, looking pretty. Ooh, you look so pretty.
I didn't see any space.
Hold on, Vita. Give me a second.
Compromise.
Vita.
Yeah, what up, peoples?
Turn that music down.
Hey, everybody. Oh, that's all the way upstairs, too. Hold on.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Y'all,
you don't got to go upstairs. Don't worry about it.
already came up here. Let me see. Okay. All right.
All right, now what you got for us?
Are you guys still on the pros and cons of relationships?
You go back to it for you.
Well, I think relationships help you to grow up. Because you have to do, you're not thinking about selves anymore. It helps you like learn it. Like I said, when you learn things about yourself, sometimes you don't know what's in you until another person push certain buttons, or until you're in certain situations. You don't even know that certain attitudes and things are inside you till something come against you and bring that stuff out. It teaches you how to share. I think you got a person that you can enjoy adventures with too. You can have fun with, try new things. I think it's those are the cons of a relationship, of a healthy relationship.
Con is you got to give up your hoes. I think that's a con.
Say that again.
You got to give up your hoes. I think that's a con.
Yeah, unless y'all into that together, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to give up a
friend? I don't see a reason for you to be in a relationship if you want to have hoes.
No doubt. Well, there's a reason.
Why?
I expect that you don't see a reason. I get that. Huh?
I don't. I mean, I know why y'all see a reason. I get, but I don't understand. Why would you want to be in a relationship?
You don't, or you won't understand.
I said I understand why listening to. I understand, but I don't understand why be in a relationship if you want to have a lot of partners.
I hear you.
That's all. I don't get it. It's especially bringing someone in that you know not about that. That's why I had a problem with it. You they unknowingly, you sell them a dream or you tell them a lie. When there's so many people out here that's with that, they with that. So I say, get with them people that's with that and leave the people alone that want to be in individual relationships.
I got a pro and con.
That's all.
She said that's a con. I think if you getting with somebody and you know that's not what they own, and you told them that you're with what they're with, that's something else. That's just a whole lie.
Exactly.
But it's but I get why somebody would want other people and have an established relationship. It makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Your partner ain't finna give you every single thing you need. They just not. Not consistent.
Like what? How you know that?
Maybe you trying to be into art, but you ain't really into it for real, but you trying. And so you can't have the conversations that another person can have.
So
had the conversations about
that's a reason for you to go. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. What you were saying?
I mean, just because we're not into, if you're not into the same thing, you knew I wasn't into art before we got together.
I understand, but I'm not talking about what you're talking about as far as a person misleading you, right? Selling you a dream. I'm just answering the question. Why would a person want more partners if they also want to be in a relationship? I'm just trying to tell you why it would be that way. You know what I mean?
I understand. I really do. I get it. I understand because like you said, I understand why some women have different men. They have the one man that probably spend money on them. They have the other man that spend time with them. They have the other man that pay things. I get that, but I don't get it because I'm not like that. So I just think
you don't agree with it.
I don't agree with it. Okay. And sometimes even in my brain, I still don't. But yeah. But okay. Hey, I say, listen, that's why you get to know each other. And if you know a person is willing to grow, or if they're not an artsy person, that they're willing to travel that road with you too. That's what you do. You learn. You're not going to probably come in and like everything, but then that could be a newfound thing that I might love. You don't know if you don't try.
But address the topic that's on the board right now for us.
You change my subject, babe. But okay.
It's our show. What we got to do?
How do I define trying a relationship? Well, I believe trying is definitely doing whatever you need to do to have a healthy relationship. And that, to me, that comes with, like you said, if you need counseling with communication and comprehension, that comes with great resolution skills. That comes with not being prideful. That comes with being humble. Not trying to be right, but trying to fix the solution. A lot of times we try to be right instead of fixing things. Instead of coming in like with I don't come to Monix trying to be right. I come trying to get a resolution. How we going to work this out? That's in my mind. I'm not worried about being right. I want to fix it.
I'm just so glad,
and that's it.
That the resolution commonly deals with me feeling on her booty. So this works for me. As long as I start there, we are able to work it out.
Oh my God!
It's a simple
simple things.
Yeah, man.
Nah, for real.
Oh
Lord. We get into the craziest spats, but like I tell you,
lately,
our bottom line is our bottom line, and our bottom line is that we want to be together, and nothing's more than that. Not an argument, so because of that, an apology works.
Yeah,
apology holds value.
I have no. I don't deal in. I try to be humble. I don't deal in pride, and I make sure that I come. If maybe I need a day or so if we have an issue, and I make sure I don't come with an argumentative tone. I make sure I have a good tone that I know of. Huh?
You ever actually had to take a day
Yes, I do.
with
A
us?
couple of days. Yes.
I don't remember this.
Yes.
She said, "Yeah."
No,
I
it
don't tell you.
happened though.
I don't tell you. I just do it.
Well, that
When I
means
say take a couple of days, I'm saying take it a couple of days before I bring up a subject that I have an issue with.
you done that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not talking about, I'm saying us, if I have an issue and I know that I probably don't have at the time, maybe the right attitude, or they probably won't come out right, I'll wait, because I don't want to argue, and I'm not trying to be right. I want us to resolve this so it won't happen again. Or so we can, yeah.
Though.
Huh?
It would be happening again. I think we've had repeats.
Yeah.
Not a big deal, not a big issue. I think we repeated temperament things. Like things maybe my attitude.
It could have been big issues, but I was calm and talked to you about it.
We've repeated big issues.
I said it could have became a big issue, but I talked about it, and you understood it. And when I gave you a good example, because you did a few things more than once. I didn't say you tried to do it, but when I gave you a good example of that, then you got what I was saying. Then you was like, "Oh, okay."
I'm saying, have we addressed a big thing more than once? A big thing more than once.
I'll say it didn't become a big thing. We dealt with it. That's why. It didn't become a big thing. We dealt with it. We don't let things that I know of, we don't let things become big.
Got it.
I believe like when the Bible, I know the Bible say little foxes destroy it. I think sometimes little things can snowball into big things. That's why you take care of the little things so they won't become out of, big things.
I got a big issue.
You got a big issue with me?
Yeah.
Well, you can solve it. We can solve that issue, baby.
No, you already ate the pizza. We can't solve it now.
I got some more pizza.
You do you? Bring it to me.
Whatever. Sure. I'm about to Uber it to you now.
No, drive here and bring me the pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
all right, guys.
We're hogging our line.
All right, Dennis.
All right.
All right, people.
Bye.
Good show. Good show. Bye.
Bye.
She's about to say something else. Go on now, woman.
Shout out Vita.
Oh man. Try. I think a definition of try, example of try, is to be unconventional with your communication efforts.
Unconventional?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like think outside the box. Don't do the status quo thing. Like I wished in some relationships that I had, if they went low, I wish I would have went high more often.
Mm-hmm.
You get on my mother. My response to that doesn't have to be in kind.
That's true.
She probably just needs some attention. So maybe if I would have responded like, I hear you, baby. Let's talk about it over dinner. Go put on some clothes. Instead of having to check her for trying to check me. I think if I'd have tried that, if in a marriage, your marriage got to be worth that.
Yeah.
If it ain't, you got a problem. You got a personal problem. But maybe if I'd have tried that in certain situations, just something besides yelling back.
Well, hindsight is always 20/20.
Yeah. Well,
so
that shit need to start being foresight.
Unfortunately, it'll never be foresight.
You know what I'm saying?
Because, you always going to look back at something and say, oh, I could have did better. I could have did that better. But in the heat of the moment or in the moment, sometimes that doesn't give you the luxury of having it.
This is where I think foresight can be 20/20.
Mm-hmm.
This is why. At my age, we're around the same age. Mm-hmm. At our age, we've been through enough to where we know how this works. Oftentimes, like I believe women have the core of women is common. Mm-hmm. A lot of the same problems, a lot of the same issues. Every woman you have, well, most women you have, right? Nuances are different, But like in the Navy, we had the warfare qualification where this common core, this group of things is what's going on with every ship. But now, depending on the platform, there's specific things. There are things that's specific to that ship, that kind of platform.
Okay.
So we call that ship specifics. So I think women work the same way. I think people work the same way. But I date women, so we're dealing with women. I think women work the same way. They have the commons core, and then they have person specifics. Yeah. You know what I mean? What's some of the common things? A lot of women get mad about similar things. They react similar to a lot of things. But the nuances are things like what kind of cake she likes, and does she yell or does she not yell? Is she passive aggressive? Does she hit you with a bunch of aggression, or is she right in your face? You know, those are some of the specifics. Did her church upbringing do this for her? Maybe her church upbringing did that for her. Right. Maybe this class of woman is more pure than another class of woman. More pure. Nobody's totally pure that I know of. But but there are certain things where I know better when it comes to a woman. And this approach generally works.
Yeah.
Most women who will let you put your dick in them, they'll let you handle them responsibly. They'll be okay with it. That don't mean they won't ever give you any pushback. But for the most part, you'll be able to manage. I'm using sex as just my weird way of saying respect.
Yeah. I think to a certain degree, your foresight works.
Definitely certain degree.
You know what I'm saying? like to an extent. You know what I'm saying? That's absolutely true. You know what I'm saying? But I think those nuances is where the weeds are. You know what I'm saying? And we could take that approach of, applying what we automatically know about, women, or women about men. But I think sometimes what we do is, we say, we know this is a commonality, but we have to leave space for the variances so that we can allow that person to show us who they are. You know what I'm saying? So there's a certain area for unknown. You know what I mean? Like there's a certain area for, I'm gonna do this, and this is what I know to do, but that may not be the response that I'm gonna get. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, maybe the last 3 women, I bought them flowers and they liked them.
Right.
I bring flowers to this chick, she throws them on the floor and stumps on them.
Yeah, well, that's where the nuance comes in.
So
that chick might not do flowers. Chocolate might be her thing, or maybe she don't need none of that. Maybe she just need a hug, or maybe she just need to be slapped on the ass, or maybe she just need some food.
So again, that foresight can work to a certain extent, but
it works with the common core.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. It works with it. I think the foresight works with the common core. The other stuff you got to figure out.
Yeah,
you got to figure out what makes them tick, and use that to put them in the proper position in your life.
Absolutely.
Because we're speaking of leadership, right? Or like we did earlier, we're all leaders. We're all leading a person or guiding a person to put them in the right place to be more effective for us.
Right. Or we should be.
We should be. And not to be confused with abusing a person. Because some people will take that and definitely do abuse.
What does try look like in a relationship? I think trying is I think patience, exercising patience.
Yeah. What is that? Give me an example of exercising patience.
Realizing that there's a learning curve, and also realizing that the learning curve is a 2-way street. So you learning about your spouse or your significant other, and then them having to learn about them. So I think we mentioned earlier about how, sometimes people have those situations in their past and they develop mechanisms to cope moving forward, but they never really analyze why they put those mechanisms there in the first place. They just go on living.
Right.
So now you jump into a relationship and your girl is snappy, or she's short tempered. You know what I'm saying? In other words, she lets energy overrun her very easily. You know,
Mhm.
and you kind of find that to be a conflict with you guys. You don't want to throw the whole woman away because she's a good woman, but but this is one of the things that you guys clash on. That may involve you saying, okay, cool, let me calm down. You know, let me do some digging, do some asking some questions, talking, figure out what this is, because this is not something towards me. This is something coming out of her past. It's something coming out of her being. You may have to exercise some space. Come to find out she was raped.
Yeah.
Now your dynamic, now your view of the situation is much different. Before you was taking it personal, but now you realize, oh shit, you got some real unresolved issues in you. And you probably never had counseling. You probably didn't tell nobody about these things. So you've held it in all this time.
Yeah.
And you've tried to cope through relationships, which have all failed.
What I know about dealing with a rape victim is,
And they're not all the same, by the way.
No, but no. What I do know is I've had two that I've dealt with. One was just a friend, and one was a partner. If you want to be in their space, you got to love on them a little harder.
And you got to love them through some things.
You got to love them through some things, even when they're wrong. It's like, yo, okay, baby.
Yeah.
Come here. Just give me a hug. I got you.
Yep.
You got to learn to diffuse your anger quickly. On top of both of you needing to learn to be quick to forgive. Quick to forgive and restore.
Yeah.
You got to restore.
Yeah.
You got to get a person their job back. If I can't hug you no more because you're mad, you didn't forgive me. You forgave me, but you didn't restore me. Forgiveness is worthless without restoration. I think forgiveness without restoration, that's probably not even real forgiveness. Because when you forgive me of a debt, I don't have the debt anymore. I'm not paying the price of the debt anymore. But if you didn't restore me, I'm still paying the price of the debt. I'm still paying for what I did. So you didn't forgive me. You just said you ain't mad no more.
Yeah, in a relationship that's
still a lie.
Yeah, in a relationship that's counter communication, counter messaging.
It's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
To do it that way. You got to get my job back, or it's not real forgiveness.
Yeah.
Because if it's forgiveness, that means I don't have to pay anymore.
Like I said, that's in line with patience. You know what I'm saying? Because you do have to give people that grace to show you better when you do forgive them.
And the other person, the person who caused the trouble, also has to show give some grace as well.
Yeah.
But if we're always looking after each other, a lot of these problems don't matter, right? They won't be there because you can't decide if you're going to decide to be in a relationship, but it's all about what you're supposed to get out of it. You're causing problems.
Yeah.
It's about servitude. It's about being of service to your partner. And that should be their deal to you. And I think friends should hold their friends accountable.
I think service is also
like the fellas need to be able to tell the fellas when they tripping.
Yeah.
Hey, like I had a married homeboy. He came in the house when they talking about, yeah, you don't fuck with this other chick, you know what I'm saying? You understand the wife don't know nothing about it. No, nigga, you tripping. Don't come in here with that. You're not allowed to talk to me about that. Yeah. And he didn't like how I was talking to him. And I could have stood to check my tone. But I was like, bro, no, you tripping, bro. That's your wife. You made a whole ass vow to this woman, and I ain't here trying to judge you.
Right.
But bro, I'm not gonna let you sit here like it's cool. It's not cool, bro. Why did you make the commitment then?
Right.
You know what I mean?
You mentioned grace.
Yeah.
You mentioned grace. I think grace, service. I think those are efforts. I think those are examples of trying. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you really want to be with the person you're with, you're trying to be with them, one of the signs you may look for is whether or not that person is trying to serve you. And when I say serve you, I don't mean on your hands and knees, and I don't mean on your hands and feet. What I mean is they're trying to proactively figure out how to anticipate needs.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
you don't even get to my space before if I don't notice that first.
Yeah.
Like if I don't feel like you're that type of person.
Mm.
You know, maybe you get to my space, but you're not there long if you don't either. You need to either be proactive about service or be quick enough to reciprocate. I don't mind going first.
No.
Yeah. At all.
Yeah.
I don't mind going first at all. But if you're not proactive with service or quick to reciprocate, and then even with that, at some point it needs to be on autopilot between us both.
It becomes messaging.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you do something for somebody and you don't get the reciprocation, you almost feel as if the message is you're not worth reciprocating to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So reciprocation is an effort. Reciprocation is an example, I think, of trying. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to be with somebody, they do something for you, naturally you may want to reciprocate because you want to keep the energy going. You know, you're not a taker. So the last thing I want to do is give the energy of a taker. You give to me, the first thing I'm going to want to do is give back to you because I want to keep that avenue open. You know, I want to keep that exchange open. I want this to be a thing where, okay, cool. I give to you, you give to me. I give to you, you give to me. Now we have an exchange going. You know, not to say that I want our relationship to be based on giving and taking, but
it's a part of it.
That is a part of it. But I think the giving and taking part is a sowing and reaping. You know what I'm saying? I sow energy into you so that I can get good energy out of you. You know,
Yeah,
I sow positivity in you so that you can emit positivity back toward me.
I sow good energy. Personally, I try to sow good energy into people for the purposes of it positively affecting them.
Yeah.
I'm not so concerned about myself because if I have to become concerned about what you're going to do for me, we have a problem now.
You shouldn't be concerned. But I do think that part of you giving good energy into people is not directly because you want them to do it for you, but I think consciously you understand that as a byproduct of getting good energy, you tend to give good energy.
Yeah, it should be a byproduct. So
you know, whether that's towards you or whether that's towards somebody else,
it should be seamless.
Yeah,
you know, and when it's not seamless and I have to think about it, now we got a problem. That don't mean I'm stepping, but I don't want to have to address this.
Yeah.
That's why if I'm dating 3 women, the one I'm gonna pick is the one that's proactive. Assuming obviously if I'm dating her, she's attracted to me too, so she's there for me to pick, right? Vice versa. The one I'm gonna go for is the one that's proactive.
Right.
Yo, I do want to get up with you. What's happening? You know, if I say, yo, what's up, baby? You want to get with me to do this? They don't make me wait to figure it out. They're like, oh, bet I slide? Bet. They seem interested in being around me.
Yeah. That's that reciprocation.
You feel me? That's that reciprocity. Yeah. Or they're like, yo, even if they ask me to take them somewhere, I'm okay with that early on. I'm okay with that within reason. Because, you know, as much as you ask me to take you somewhere, you should be offering to do something for me.
Hey.
Because if you're not, we got a problem.
Hey.
Now if I offer you certain things and maybe not that our thing has to be I take you so you take me. Maybe our thing is I take you and you care for me this way.
Yeah.
And I see that as fair.
The exchange doesn't have to be tit for tat.
No. If I buy you a Benz and you buy me a Toyota Camry, all right.
You know what I'm saying? Or you buy me, or you book a trip and fly somewhere.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, like it's about the energy and the notion gesture of reciprocation.
You know who I run from? The travel people. The people who be like, I need somebody who's just ready to book a flight out of nowhere.
Why do you run from them?
I run from them because they're weird to me.
Why?
Because for one, all right, I ain't gonna lie.
Do you feel like
part of it is the insecurity because I can't just get up and go like that. Not what it ain't the money, it's my condition.
Yeah.
2, also it's like I got babies. I can't be just doing that all willy-nilly.
Yeah. And
if you ready to go, I'm gonna randomly spend $800. No, I'm not doing that.
I'm not built for that right now.
You can randomly pay for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
not built
saying?
for that right now. Well, God bless you if you can do it.
God bless your
God
ministry.
bless you if you can do it.
I'm not to get up and travel out of nowhere. I'm not. Listen,
I want to be.
I run from all fanciful things. When you come to me and you talk like you expect the fanciful things, I'm not going to be there long. That's just how I am.
Why is that?
Because I don't like fairy tales. I'm not a fan at all of I'm not a fan of that version of the fairy tale. Fairy tales, in essence, it's really a cycle. It's rinse and repeat. You know, what it does show you is the ebb and flow.
Why do you think that's a fantasy?
Because it's not financially feasible for me to just get up out of nowhere and spend $800 because she want to go. The people who want somebody who will never hurt them, don't be with me, baby.
Yeah,
I'm human,
I
don't intend to hurt. And I don't intend to hurt you. I don't intend to at all.
It's just that me being me and you being you
human.
eventually is going to run into a conflict or a misunderstanding where you will be hurt simply because you misunderstood.
Or maybe I was foul that day, because that can happen.
Right, but it wasn't malicious. It wouldn't be, it may not be.
Hey, shit, it might be malicious every now and then, though. Right? We've all done it. Malicious, like, yo, I'm gonna fuck her up with this one.
Yeah,
because she been doing what we would call getting on our nerves.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let me tell you today, because today you're gonna hear it. You know, it's been there, and it ain't that you did it all willy-nilly. You was just really frustrated.
Yeah.
You know, and you lost your temperament for a second, maybe for a few seconds.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a human. I might hurt you. In a long life together, I'm probably gonna do most things to you once.
But I'm not
good or bad.
my intention is not to hurt you
at all.
You know what I'm saying? So when I say what I'm saying, understand that it's coming from a mechanic. It's not coming from soul. You know what I'm saying?
Charge it to my head, not my heart.
Right.
If you could charge it to my heart, I wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Committing to you this way. Something I want to talk about next week. She says, so because you like someone to travel with, it's fanciful. To travel out of nowhere is fanciful. That's what's fanciful.
Now, if you're single and you got the money to, and you got the lifestyle and the means to do it, God bless you, because I'm definitely sitting here rooting and living vicariously through you.
Yeah, I'm a middle class citizen, and I don't find it financially feasible being middle class. I know where I am right now.
Yeah, in my life.
Now, a road trip, like a day trip,
yeah, simple.
A day trip out of nowhere, sure. Go to Detroit. Let's go to St. Louis. Let's go to Milwaukee. Let's go to Indianapolis. Let's drive to Minnesota.
If you're trying to hit islands,
babe, it's Friday.
And
let's drive to Minnesota. I bet. Let's go. Yeah. We could go down south.
Yeah.
Maybe, go there and be with some family real quick, slide back. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have an adventure? I'm cool with an adventure, but like flights and, cruises, I'm trying to run a business here too.
Without planning, yes. If you just, next month we're going to do this, that's fine. If you got to do it, do it.
Hey, DEION talk that shit. He said even the vows insinuate imperfections, and that's why the vows are asking you, the vows are asking, are you committed to imperfections? Now that shit is real. That we got to talk about one day how we're making these vows and we're not living up to them, and we always find caveats to justify our point. I'm sorry. If you said for better or for worse, I fucked it up twice, okay? I fucked it up twice. I'm being honest. But if you said for better or for worse, I'm not letting myself off the hook. I went against my vows twice. You know what I'm saying? But what if he, man, you said for better for worse, which means that when worse happens, no, you don't. I don't want to say you just gonna deal with it. You got to try to fix it, right? So maybe sometimes a lot of people try counseling, right, and the other person don't want to go. Okay, cool. A lot of people will look at that and say, "Fuck it, it's over." Nah, it ain't over right there. It shouldn't be. You go to counseling. Do that shit for you. Maybe you'll find out something about yourself that'll help. But we're so selfish, it becomes not about servitude after a while. Yeah. And look, understandably so, right? I do get it, but you gotta be think outside the box. You gotta push through and try to be better as a person before you try to make this person be better. Yeah, that's just the nature of dealing with people. Yeah, you made the vow. Look, and if you divorce, hey, that's what you did. I ain't finna knock you for real, but I'm just saying I ain't gonna let you slide. I ain't not let you slide, but you ain't finna run that one past me. No, I don't got to deal with that. Yeah, the fuck you do, because that's what the vow said. The vow said you're supposed to give it a fair shot at least.
Yep. For better or worse. Not for better or for better.
I mean, for better or for worse. Dookie stains in the drawers.
But most people don't think like that. They think for better or worse, that means
It's just something to say.
As long as life is great, for worse, until you cheat on me.
You feel me?
Once you cheat on me, I'm done.
Now, I'm not saying that anybody sit around and take abuse. But shit, for better for worse is for better for worse. You got to understand what the fuck you saying in your vows.
Yeah.
Don't tell me for better for worse and you leave me because I cheated. You lied.
Very true.
You lied. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you lied. It ain't my fault you made the fucking vow. Maybe it's both our faults that the vows were made. But
we should have wrote our own vows.
I definitely
Write your own vows.
I want to write my own vows.
Yeah.
Wash her dookie. She said she'll wash my dookie drawers.
Oh, that's just sweet.
Oh God, you nasty and it's beautiful at the same time.
No. Let's get some music in real quick.
Shit, we need to get ready to go. So it's
shit,
almost 10 o'clock. We got another show coming in.
Oh, the show, dude.
We're gonna let's leave them with the music and check out of here, man.
All right, let's give a quick shout out to our residents once again, man. Shout out to Heads Down, Bottoms Up Mixology.
That's the way we
LLC.
like to.
Bottoms Up Mobile.
Head
Mixology.
down, bottom up. That's LLC. The way we like to drink.
Heads down, bottoms up, baby. Bottoms Up Mobile Mixology LLC. Brandy Butterfly. Y'all make sure y'all check her out. Give me 1 second. Let me give y'all her information real quick because we got to be professional.
Vita says we can leave up infidelity. That's what you've decided, but you're breaking your vow.
Yeah. So back up. Bottoms Up Mixology. Heads down, bottoms up. Bottoms Up Mobile Mixology LLC. Hit her up 773-314-7407. Also follow her on Facebook at Bottoms Up Mixology. Bottoms Up Mobile Mixology Services LLC. On IG at Bottoms Up Mixology LLC. Right. Also check out our resident designer, Miss. Okay, catch her at Pro Design Services across all platforms, IG, Instagram, Facebook. Okay, all right. So y'all gotta check out Miss Rowe Bryant from Rowe Design Services. Love you, girl. Thank you for the shout out. Thank you for the shirts. These are so comfortable. They're dope. We love them. So if you guys want something custom made, man, holler at our girl, Miss Rowe. She will hook you up, man.
Yep. Until next time, what we got next week? We got Candace Nicole next week.
Got Candace Nicole coming through next
forward
week.
To this interview.
Yeah. Shout out Candace Nicole, man. Your album is so dope. We can't wait to chop it up with you about it. And we'll probably be rolling solo again next week too. So.
We got Nina.
Nina's coming next week.
Didn't we say the 16th or something like that?
Yeah, I gotta follow with her.
That's actually this next Friday.
That's next Friday. Okay.
Yeah, let's follow up.
All right, we'll follow up with her. Make sure we confirm. But we'll probably have Nina Motivates on for next Friday too. So shout out to you, Nina. We love you, baby. And we will holler at you and confirm that for you, okay?
Bring us cookies.
Bring them cookies.
I want cookies. I don't know if you make cookies, but figure it out for us.
Bring no cookies.
You feel me?
Shoptalk 7 in the building, man. We love you guys. Hit us up 630-465-0229.
You feel me?
Check us out on supportdistrictradio.com. Shout out to Shot Blizz.
All that jazz, man. Shoptalk 7 in the building, man. Let's get it.
Love you guys. See y'all next week.
Peace.
Look at you thinking you could live without him. Now look at you living. Look at you doing way better in all out of your feelings. Your edges came back and your getting a little bit. Girl, cause you don't deserve. You don't deserve. You don't deserve. You should do better. You don't deserve. You don't deserve. You don't deserve. You should do better. You fell in love with a now you feel like you can't trust you. You the one that would've stuck with him. No, you knew he wasn't why you let him do you like that? Why you let him do you like that? You leave wants to be right back. Why you let him do you like that? You let him cheat on you. You let him beat on you. You scared to be single, huh? You need to leave home. He call you ugly names. Your mind ain't feeling the same. Going through body the chain. Girl, get back on your game. Friends try to tell you leave him, but you're feeling like you need him. He can cheat right in your face, and you still gon' believe him. Then a good man come along, and you push him away. You push him away. You gotta do better. Look at you thinking you couldn't live without him. Now look at you living. Look at you doing way better in all out of your feelings. Your edges came back, and your getting a little bigger. Girl, feeling, cause you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. And you can do better. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. You can do better. You deserve flowers on Tuesday. Not a single but the bouquet. I know you had a real long day. Let you pop open the deuce. Not on Netflix and chill. Baby, that ain't what it is. Need a real boss in your corner. Help you pay some of them bills. I see the stress on your shoulders. So let me take it off. You let them hurt you. And you want ball. I see the pain in your eye. When I look at you, know you tired of all these. Baby, just hear me through. Got a PlayStation at home. I ain't finna play with you. Tell me what you want. Whatever you need, I don't think you know your worth, baby. I can't sit back and watch you hurt, baby. Look at you thinking you couldn't live without him. Now look at you living. Look at you doing way better in all out of your feelings. Your edges came back and you're getting a little bigger. Girl, feeling, cause you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. And you can do better. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. And you can do better.
I'm looking for happiness for me. Someone let me rest. No, you just won't let me be. I'm like a road leads to you. You know I follow. Can't be afraid to fall. There's always news tomorrow. The feeling's hard pill to swallow. I'm looking for a messy everywhere, even in a bottle. I can be decide which way to go. Tell me if I'm getting cold on warm, let me know. Aiming for the stars.